This episode is sponsored by the Cornell S.E. Johnson College of Business. The Cornell Executive MBA Americas program is designed for goal achievers from any industry. The program works by advancing your career without interruption, by providing global perspectives and intimate classroom settings, and by challenging, informing, connecting, and propelling you. Achieve your goals with the Cornell Executive MBA Americas program on the weekend and close to home. Search Cornell EMBA Americas in my city today.
Welcome to the Ellevate podcast, conversations with women changing the face of business. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ellevate podcast, History Makers. I'm your host, Megan Oliver, and I am here just to give you a quick intro into who you're going to be hearing from today. I so enjoyed this interview. We actually, as we were finishing and waiting for the audio to upload, we talked and we said, I swear we could have kept talking for like 17 more hours. Today, I talked to Emma J. Weber. She is the first lesbian Miss Great Britain finalist. We talk about pageantry. We talk about being plus size. We talk about her 9-to-5 job. It's so good. We talk about the LGBTQ community. As you know, I am a member of the LGBTQ community. She's a member of the LGBTQ community. So, you know, we had a lot to talk about. She's just the coolest person ever, and you are really, really going to enjoy this one. So without further ado, let's get to my interview with Emma J. Weber. I am here with Emma J. Weber, who has made all kinds of history, but is here specifically because she was the first lesbian finalist for Miss Great Britain. I believe I got that right. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's absolutely correct.
Excellent. So, Emma J., do you want to start off by telling us, who you are, how you got to where you are, how you got into pageantry? Because that is such an interesting field that I don't really know that much about.
No, I know. And it at once was as far out of my comfort zone as anything could be. I have a kind of sport and football, or you guys would say soccer, background. So to wear a pair of heels for the first time about 5-6 years ago, oh no, maybe a bit longer now, nearly 6-7 years ago, was very, very alien to me. I stumbled across pageantry when I was online. I was looking for inspiration or something to help improve my self-esteem and my self-worth. It was a very difficult time in my life at that point. I literally seen an advert, I believe on Instagram, for Miss British Beauty Curve, and seeing the girls on stage that look similar to me and all these beautiful gowns and looking so confident in themselves, I had to put an application in. It was just on the whim. Then, if I'm honest with you, I completely bottled the first finals and didn't attend, and which, looking back now, taught me a lot of lessons. But then I applied again in 2017 and took the plunge, ended up on stage, remembering not knowing what I was doing at all. And then I walked away with first runner-up in my very first pageant, Miss British Beauty Curve. From there, I then progressed to internationals for Miss International Curve, and I finished a third runner-up, so third, I guess, globally overall in the curve section, which was incredible. And then from there in 2019, I decided as a plus size woman that I wanted to enter what they call a mainstream pageant. And I entered Miss Paragon International, and that's when I won my first crown, which was incredible, especially as a plus size woman. From there, I completely fell in love with pageantry and what it was about, and I developed my platform, which is LGBTQ plus rights. And little did I know that it was non-existent in pageantry. Last year, I entered Miss Great Britain, which is UK's longest and most prestigious pageant. and made history, as you mentioned, as the first lesbian finalist to walk that stage. At that point, I was kind of ready to hang up my heels and thought, right, I'm done with pageantry. And then the opportunity came up to represent United Kingdom at Miss World International this year. And that's where I am currently.
Amazing. That's just a round of applause, I want to say. I know that we mentioned this. I mentioned this in the pre-call when we were chatting earlier, but as a person who is bisexual and plus size, like, oh, the amount of representation that just made me so happy, because I remember when I'm researching our history makers, I saw first lesbian Miss Great Britain. Oh my gosh, so amazing, so cool. And then I was like, oh my gosh, and she's also plus size like me. Just such cool representation. And is that where you were wearing the like all rainbow flag outfit that you have? That was what we initially shared, because that was the coolest outfit, and I have to know who made it.
Oh, thank you. I made it myself, actually. Yeah, I couldn't find anything that represented, I guess, me and my platform of LGBTQ plus rights. So I found the rainbow jumpsuit online, which is actually a full length one. Cut the legs off, got some feathers, got some material. I had this idea in my head, and I was really pleased how it came out. I mean, I'm not necessarily a very creative, or I'm not a dressmaker or anything of sort, but I can handle a glue gun. So that's how that's all stuck together.
That's amazing. I was like, this is who made this? It's so cool. Oh, I love it. It's listeners, if you want to see it, we've got it on our Instagram. She's got it on her Instagram. Definitely go check it out and you'll see what I mean. It's just like pop of color. It's so cool.
I wanted to be a bit different.
Yeah, I gotta say, if I was watching a pageant and I saw you walk down and I saw, like, let's say I didn't know who you were and I saw a contestant walk down in that, I would be like losing my mind. I'd be like, this is the greatest pageant outfit ever.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the compliment.
Yes. So, and then I have to ask, what talent do you use in pageants?
So, in terms of UK pageantry, not every pageant system has a talent round. Any talent rounds I have entered, I've usually done public speaking, or I've done a speech in terms of LGBTQ plus rights, which again, as you mentioned, you can see some of that on my social media pages. So yeah, I'm not very, I don't dance, I don't sing, I don't do any of the wonderful talents some of the other girls do. But yeah, public speaking, it comes from the heart, and I'm not afraid to say it how it is. So that tends to do me okay.
Yeah. And I love the idea of public speaking as a talent, because it absolutely is.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a skill that can be used anywhere outside of pageantry, in terms of kind of job interviews, or for university, or for colleges. So yeah, it's I'm glad I'm comfortable with public speaking.
Definitely. Very good thing to have in general. So one thing that you talked about earlier that I want to come back to is self-esteem, how you were looking to increase your own self-esteem. I know that you do a lot of work with wanting to boost self-esteem.
Yes.
Let's say that somebody is listening to this right now and has some self-esteem issues. How would you recommend they go about starting the journey of building that?
It's easier said than done. I would say to take literally each day at a time, and finding a mirror in your house, as silly as it may sound, finding a mirror, looking into that mirror, and just finding one thing about you for that day. It could be you like your hair that day, or you like an item of clothing, or just even smiling. And practice that each day. Is completely private, completely on your own. It does feel silly to begin with, especially if you have low self-esteem. But slowly, each day that passes, you begin to get better at that, and you begin to believe that. It's really hard to feel comfortable in your own skin, especially with the, I guess, social norms and the definition of beauty that we have out there, that we should all look one certain way. It's really important to remember that we are all different on this planet. There is not one person who's exactly the same as anybody else. We all have different shapes, different sizes, different backgrounds, different skin tones. And we are all unique, and we are all lucky to be here and to be alive, is deep and meaningful as that sounds. So to realize the beauty in that, and realize the beauty in everyday life, that we get to live it, and realize we're all beautiful, is such a magical moment you can have in your life. Our bodies go through so much in our lifetime. I've had 2 difficult pregnancies, but my 2 children are the most amazing miracles that could have happened. And yes, I do have that mummy tummy pouch that we talk about, and I do have stretch marks. But I'm really proud of those because of what's become of that. People have all sorts of health issues, or they've had surgeries, or they've been in accidents, and those journeys in itself will make you a better person and make you more resilient. And beauty, that is beautiful in itself. So there's so much to beauty rather than just what is on the outside.
Yes, 100%. And I want to add too, these insane standards of beauty, which it feels like change about every 30 seconds.
They do.
Yeah, that nobody in the world fits.
No.
Like I don't know. I don't know what kind of. I would love to see an image that would look like of somebody who fits all the beauty standards. Because it's impossible. But what has it meant to you to represent, the LGBTQ community in pageantry, especially since you said, one of the first things you learned, to your surprise, was that there really isn't much of it.
Correct. The first couple of years I was in pageantry, I didn't really realize until I was at an event, and I just, a number of times that evening, just was asked where my husband was. And I guess everyone just assumed that I was heterosexual. I remember for the first time in my adult life since coming out, I was actually quite frightened to say, "Oh, actually, I have a girlfriend," and it just made me think for a long, long time after that event of why I acted in that way, and why did I hide it. So I decided to have a look then to see if there were any LGBTQ plus individuals in pageantry. And in the UK, there was nothing at that time. I looked globally, and there were only a couple of others, if that, and that was only in the last, say, 10 years. So I realised that actually something needed to be done here. I couldn't believe that this was in 2018. So in 2018, that there were no LGBTQ plus role models in an industry. If you do the maths, there must be more people that are hiding it or are afraid to come out. So I kind of felt responsible then. I felt like I had a responsibility and a mission, and the light bulb went off to be like, okay, I know why I'm here now. This is what I need to do.
Yes, absolutely. And like you said, it's whenever people say, very occasionally in my life, I'll have somebody say to me, "Oh, well, I've never met a gay person, or I've never met a trans person." I'm like, "Yes, you have.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know it."
Yes, absolutely. Everyone is out everywhere, every day. And we don't walk around with signs held up. So yeah, I guarantee that most people on this planet would have 100% interacted somewhere with a member of the community somehow.
Yes, absolutely. So you mentioned that your mom, I want to say, so I always wonder, people who are moms who are in the public eye in any way, do your kids think pageantry is cool, or is it just, oh, that's just the thing mom does?
A bit of both, really. My son tends to roll his eyes now anytime I talk about or mention pageantry at the dinner table or just during the day. So I try to kind of have those chats at more appropriate times because I live it, breathe it, dream it. But they are rather excited. And so my son relates it to football and thinks that I'm in the World Cup of pageantry by being at Miss World International, which is quite cute. So everything is football related for him. But it is nice. You can tell he's very, very proud. And my daughter absolutely loves it. She has become a bit of a mini me. And she loves the dresses and the outfits and doing my hair. So yeah, it's really, really lovely.
So cute. I saw it was her birthday recently. I insta stalked your Instagram. So
yeah, it was. And she had a little princess party, which is really, really cute.
Yeah, so happy birthday to her. It's the pictures you posted are so cute, especially the one of the flashback where she's in the little Wonder Woman costume.
Yes. She's grown so fast. I mean, they both have. It goes so quick, like in the blink of an eye. And I can't believe they're 7 and nearly 9 now. I feel like I've only had them like a couple of years ago, with that.
Yeah, I don't have kids myself, but my brother and his fiance just had my first niece.
Oh.
So that's super exciting for our family. She's 6 months old now. So my parents' first grandchild, my first niece, my sister's first niece. And it is crazy how fast, in the last 6 months she has grown. And I'm like, slow down. Please slow down. I'm understanding now why everybody kept telling me to slow down as a kid.
I know. The things you realize when you become like a parent or an aunt, or you have kind of babies and small children around, I feel like I've turned into my mother and all the things she used to say to me.
Yes, I know, right? It's one of those things where you're like, I'm not going to do it. And then you're like, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
So I have to say also, we've talked about your LGBTQ representation in pageants. We touched briefly on, being plus size, but what does it mean to you to be, because I imagine it's quite a different jump when you jump from the curve pageants to the all-encompassing pageants. What was that experience like for you?
Just thinking back now, my mind started to slip into the, oh my goodness, I look different to the other girls. I am plus size. I am bigger. And I felt myself feeling those usual social pressures of being too big or being too short. And I questioned if I should be doing it and if I belonged there. So yeah, there were quite a few barriers to overcome. And once I got there, like, the girls were amazing and so welcoming. And it's the best thing that I ever did, because I feel so strongly that representation really does matter. We need more role models for our younger generations to look up to. We need plus size women on there. We need women of all different shapes, sizes, colours. People need someone to relate to. So I reminded myself of the importance of what I was doing, and the message that I was sending out, especially to my own daughter and my own son, that actually it's okay to be different and it's okay to be any body shape or any body size. So I remember being stood on stage, and it was the final two. It was myself and one other girl who was 6 foot tall, long, beautiful dark hair, emerald green dress on, and I was 5'6". I'd taken my shoes off. I was significantly bigger than this other girl. And I just remember thinking, I'm never going to get this. I'm never going to get this. And then they called my name out as winner, and I couldn't believe it. And then the response that I got from other girls in the pageant community, but not only that, like in my local community, that people have been, I guess, waiting and missing to see somebody in the public eye that looked, I'm going to say the word normal, which I know is a bad word to use, but someone who just looked like the average person, someone who looked like someone that was relatable to how most of us look. But yeah, it was incredible. It was scary, and I'm so glad that I did it.
I am so glad too. And I love that you took your shoes off.
I did. I was barefoot for the last round and for the results. I just couldn't walk in those shoes any further. I mean, they were beautiful, but I kicked them off at the side of my stage because when they say your legs go wobbly like jelly when you're nervous, I never understood that until that moment. My knees were knocking, and rather than fall over, I thought, right, I'm going to take my shoes off and go barefoot. So, yeah, I don't think many girls have ever done that before, but I can't be anything but myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so speaking of being yourself, I want to say, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now who are thinking, oh, that's so cool that she does that, but I could never do that because I'm busy with my day job or something. You do have a day job, and it's, it's so far from what you would imagine the glamorous pageantry life is. Do you want to talk about that and how you balance the two?
Yes. No, it is the complete opposite to the glamour and glitz of pageants. My day job is I drive a forklift. So I'm a forklift operator in a warehouse for flooring and construction here in the UK. And so I usually wear my high vis, normally have my work boots on, I'm covered in dust, normally have a hard hat if I'm inside. Yeah, so I drive a forklift, I get my stock, I what they say, tip lorries, so getting the stock completely off the lorries or putting them back on the lorries, moving it around the warehouse, taking it out for deliveries. Yeah, all sorts of things, and the manual labor behind it as well. I guess it's fantastic because I don't need to have a gym membership anymore. But yeah, I do kind of lift a lot of heavy flooring and equipment daily. So yeah, and I'm the only girl there as well. So yeah, it's interesting working with a group of men.
Yep, true. You're a history maker all over the place.
So yeah, definitely, I guess representation for females working in male dominated industries as another one to tick off, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And are they, they're very understanding of, what's all the crazy stuff going on in your life?
They are now. They didn't quite understand it to begin with, but then within construction, like I believe the recent stats is 96% of the workforce are male. So to have a woman on board anyway, let alone a girly girl, they found that quite alien, but they've got used to it. They've got used to the fact that I'll have my nail varnish and my nail file on my desk ready for when I come back in, and my hand creams. And they've actually started using them, to be honest with you, because I've been like, I've gone, guys, okay, skincare, when you come back in from the warehouse, you need to wash those hands and moisturize them. So they've got used to it. I do get a lot of banter, which is brilliant, but I can give as good as I get. But no, they're very, very supportive, which is really, really lovely. They may not understand pageantry, but they're starting to understand the significance of what I'm doing and where it's going. So I'm very, very
I
lucky.
Yeah, I first of all, I can't handle the fact that they've started like picking up your routines. I love that so much.
I've become a bit of a mother figure because I'm like, right, have you had your lunch? Like, have you moisturized? Have you had a drink?
Oh, that's so great. I'm picturing, I like, this is my little in my head fantasy. I'm just picturing like a cheering section for you at like your pageant of like, you got all kinds of people all dressed up in the pageant audience, and then you've just got like a bunch of construction workers like, yeah.
It would be exactly that if I could take everyone with me. Yeah. Oh, bless them.
That would be so great. Well, I could talk to you for like 17 hours, but we are sadly running low on time. So I want to finish by asking the question that I always ask all of our history makers, which is, if you're the first, you always want to make sure you're not the last.
Mhm.
And we're all standing, on each other's shoulders of making history. So what history maker inspired you?
History maker that inspired me was a lady called Angela Ponce. She became Miss Spain back in 2018 and went on to Miss Universe. She was so inspirational, as she was the very first trans woman to set foot on that most prestigious and biggest stage globally. Um, she's just incredible. She's a groundbreaker, a history maker, and without the bravery of Angela Ponce, um, it would be hard for LGBTQ plus individuals to make those steps and to create those role models for the future.
That is so beautiful. And I'm so glad that you said that. I'm going to have to look her up and follow her, and maybe I'll have to get her on the podcast.
She is incredible. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been just like an incredible conversation that I cannot wait to share with everyone.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, and your patience in getting me here.
Yeah, there was a little bit of behind the scenes kerfuffle, but we got it all figured out.
We got there eventually.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Ellevate Network drives real results for ambitious women trying to break through the glass ceiling and achieve success in their careers. We offer a platform full of resources and opportunities for growth, all designed to help you unlock your potential. With Ellevate's support, you can take the first step toward achieving your professional goals. With a supportive community and tangible resources at your fingertips, you're only one step away from reaching your fullest potential. Join us today and take advantage of our 30-day free trial to start building the career of your dreams. Thanks so much for listening to the Ellevate podcast. If you like what you hear, you can subscribe, give us 5 stars, and share your review. You can learn all about Ellevate membership and all the great things that Ellevate Network is doing at our website, www.ellevatenetwork.com. That's ELLEVATE network.com. And special thanks to our producer, Catherine Heller. She rocks. Thanks so much, and join us next week.